Hi, this is Eva for Once Upon a Timeline. Welcome to Midnight Mandela. How is everybody doing today? So, we've got lots of Mandelas. Won't even get to all of them. Probably not. So, that's cool. Kind of tired this week. I don't know about you guys. Feeling recovered right now, but it's been a little bit of a sleepy week. Let's see who all's in here. I'm almost sort of on time today. It's a miracle. Jackie, I don't know why I'm so attached to Jackie. Jackie is in. Preliminal. Joe Blore, David Kent, Vivian. I think that's everybody. Lord Frybread. People are going to be confused because I am not like 10 minutes late. Austin 108 is in. Toucans are extinct, huh? Okay, so for me, there was one kind of toucan, which was cool, but they didn't have, like, all that stuff that I see now. Maybe I'll pull out those toucans first, since we're already talking about them. So, today is mostly going to be what Jackie has uncovered, because she uncovered a lot of them. And if I get through all those, then I have a bunch that I have saved going back a number of weeks. So then we'll start on those. So these, why do I not have the images up? Oh, here. The images are here in Google. Slightly disorganized. So, you know, it's weird because Jackie found this thing where it said leucistic keel billed toucan. I'm trying to remember the name of it. But then it just looked like one of these, and then when I looked up these, they just said they're keel-billed toucans, not leucistic keel-billed toucans. And they're calling this one with this big red butt, and yet it doesn't look like these ones. But these ones do have red back there, sort of. See here. Now I can't really find a good back view of these little stinkies. But see here, I don't see the red, but it could be back around the corner. So something's a little fishy. Basically, there's no effing way that they had, like, this many colors on any toucans for me. They're just... I haven't been covering the birds a lot because there's so many ridiculous ones. But this is next level, even more ridiculous. It's got burgundy on the beak, green, blue, orange. Yeah, I mean, like, come on, people. This is getting next level. The burgundy, for sure. There was none that had, like, burgundy and blue. So, it was definitely worth a thumbnail. There, now it looks red. There's quite a bit of variation in these, too. And now it's like they look like they're going to have teeth or something. It's like skeleton teeth or something coming in on these. Dang, it's almost like the more I look at these images, the more I find them. I swear it was looking more like that like 10 minutes ago. You're like, dang, is it changing in front of my face? So this is a keel-billed toucan, but yet this is a keel-billed toucan. So yeah, quite a bit of variation. Now this one, I don't see any red on his butt. But this one, there's a lot. So they can't decide what they want to do, apparently. Look, okay, wait, spot differences. Okay, those maybe aren't. Is that what we're going to get? This, I don't think this one's supposed to be, yeah, it's an illustration. So maybe we're going to get, I'm wondering if we're going to get, it's interesting because these illustrations have these really extreme teethy lines on the beak, and I'm not seeing those on the real guys nearly to that level yet. So maybe it's coming in, and the I think this one is AI. Yeah, that's AI. Yeah, it's getting hard to tell. I almost fell for that one. I mean, if I really look, I can usually tell, but keel build. See, now how's that a keel build toucan? It looks different. I think that one's real. Anyway, they look totally fake. And they made a really good thumbnail, so there we go. Good find on the keel build toucans. Yeah, I just had the one kind. They were not extinct, but there was just that one kind. 50 kinds now. I wouldn't even surprised. I gave up because for a while I was like, oh, now there's 2 kinds. Now there's 4 kinds. Now I'm like, there's 5,000. I quit. I quit. I cannot count the kinds anymore. Follow the Fruit Loops. Yes! Let's see. What does that Fruit Loops toucan look like these days? Let's see. Fruit Loops. Wait. I have to spell it the way it is now. OOTLOOPS. Fruit Loops toucan. No. That was not the toucan. No. Wait. No. They didn't have a rainbow beak. That was the first appearance. No. I've never seen that before. Follow your nose, it always knows. That was the saying. Oh, yeah, Toucan Sam, that was it. Toucan Sam. Logo. Let me see if I can find it in Logopedia. Yo, he did not have a rainbow beak. Fruit Loops. Let's see if we're going to get the... Okay, let's... Trying to find the history of Toucan Sam. Alright, try Wikipedia here. The current Toucan Sam, first appearance in 1963. That, and he wasn't blue. That's a completely different creature. That looks, that is I should have put that as the thumbnail. I've never seen that thing before. That's not right. Let me see. Let me see if I can find a toucan that looked like how it used to look. Oh my. And that tiny little mouth and no. I'm not looking for Toucan Sam this time. Okay. With that. Here it was. Dang, none of them really look like it. What did they used to look like? They had green. They weren't all black. Why are they all black now? Okay, so they had the yellow beak, like this guy, but without the black spot. But the body, they all have black now? I thought the body had green on it. I don't remember there being a bunch of black. Dang. Well, anyway, I'm positive about that beak color was just yellow. They just had yellow beaks. They just had really cool beaks, but they were yellow. They were just yellow. That was it. Not with a silly spot. I mean, that's more of the flavor. They didn't have this line here. Man, I think the original ones are like gone. Didn't have this white bib thing. Dang. So, man. He was blue? That's not right. This is 100. It looks completely different. I do remember those those orange feet. I'm pretty sure that was okay. But, what, 2 colors on the tail? No. Images. Let me see what else we can find. Oh, look at now. This one even has those teethy scratches. Are we going to get the teethy lines in a bunch of them? Because... Alright. Now this is interesting because I type in Toucan Sam, but I'm getting this style that's closer to the one I remember. Okay. No Logopedia. Alright, here it is with a black and a pink. The heck is that? Toucan Sam takes you on a listening safari. Okay, well that's wrong also. 2 colors of blue. This is ridiculous. 3 colors of tail. Look like there's like a weird swoopy pattern here on the the hell, man. This is like so wrong. A giant black nose. The tip. This is so wrong. I don't know why I didn't look at this before, but this is like ridiculous. I don't even recognize that thing. If I saw that, I would... What is this thing? That's insane. It looks like a bluebird almost. So that bird was on the boxes since 1963, according to... I don't think he was all... I'm sure they didn't have that big white bib thing. I'm sure about that. And I'm sure that he had no rainbow. Yeah, that's right, Vivian. One species, and it was Toucan Sam. Now, I don't know. Mandanimal, he did not always... I am 100% that he did not have the rainbow beak for me. So you must come from this rainbow timeline. Yeah, I'm writing this down because Toucan Sam... Rainbow... since 1963. Lord Frybread remembers the rainbow beak. No, it says 63. I can't find any hint of a non-rainbow beak, even in those old images either. Yeah, that's the bird on the boxes. He was not blue. I know he wasn't blue because it looks like a blue bird. Maybe he was black, but maybe it was like black and yellow. I thought it was like, I don't know. The black is bugging me though. It looks like a bluebird. They didn't have any blue ones back then. That's why there were no blue, like, toucans at all. They didn't have any blue. That is completely different. I don't know why I didn't look at that for so long. Yellow and black beak. I just remember yellow, actually. Not even... It doesn't look like even the current toucans, but maybe the current toucans are going to look like that. I mean, they're getting close. That last one we just looked at. You remember one dark blue one. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they were... Man, if it was like super dark navy, but even that, I don't think so. The shift we had lately was huge. Okay, I'm getting better at handling the shifts, but I did feel like something was going on. So... Alright, never seen water acting like... I think I have some water things on today's schedule. Oh, okay, this though, this is not, at least currently, not real. Okay, so what happened here was that they took one of those long images, video with the long movie format, and they smooshed it. And so that makes everything very tall. Because if you actually look at, like, the trees and stuff, they're all weird also. So it is a real video, but with the wrong... See, look at all these trees. They're all super weird and stuff, too. Everything is, like, off. And then the way this, like, stick is moving around here, whatever's dangling in here, that's not, like, normal. So, yeah. Anyway, nice try. Now, who knows? Maybe it will become more real, or something like it will become real, because we've seen stuff like that. Asheville, North Carolina is not in the same place. It was in the East Coast. Now it's in the West. So the storm did clobber right along there, like kind of on the new part of Florida. So I don't know what's going on. Some say it is when saltwater and non-saltwater meet. I've never heard of them bulging like that, though. When, I mean, like, I've definitely seen where they won't mix, but since when do they, like, boil? I don't know. This has been making the rounds and a lot of, I don't know. Nobody's really saying it in this one, but I did see it. The thing that gets me, though, is these trees are wrong, and that's why I don't trust it. See, all these trees are all, like, they don't look right. Now, there's not a lot in here to give it away, but these trees, I think, are the clue. But even, like, these sticks and stuff, they don't... They're just off. And then, like, the pattern in here... Even the way the water's moving over here and stuff, it's just not right. So I'm not going to accept that as real in the current reality. Who knows? Down the line, that might always have been true, but... So, yeah, I saw that one earlier this week, and I was also looking for the same reason. Like, what? It was the most intense tropical cyclone of the 1958 Atlantic hurricane season on September 24. Huh? Alright, so is this real or is it... Uh, 1958 Hurricane Helene. Alright. 1958 Hurricane Helene. I'm a little suspicious on these, but 1958. Let's see. All right, so it had 150 mile per hour winds. Did not make landfall on North Carolina, but caused extensive damage. Alright, so what is this thing claiming again? Let me move this over here. September 24th. Attaining hurricane strength on September 24th. The hurricane quickly gained Category 4 intensity on September 26th. Attaining hurricane strength on September 26th. Okay, so according to this, it was September 26th. And this one is saying September 24. I think that somebody has been fidgeting with some of this because it clearly says attaining hurricane strength on September 26th here. And I'm not sure where this came from, but it seems to I'm thinking maybe they fidgeted with some of these numbers. I don't really have time to check it all, but It is freaky anyway. And who knows if this earthquake, this earthquake, don't jinx myself. Who knows if this ever even happened. I mean, everything is so fakey now. It's just like, I can't take anything serious because I'm like, I look at them like, that was different yesterday, that was different last week. It's all just, I'm like, this is all just bullcrap. It's not worth taking it seriously. You just gotta accept that it's bull. And just have a good laugh, because otherwise you could get really upset. Okay, Jackie found this thing. Sea robins. Now, we've had these, I call them the frog fish or the feet fish. But this one is different because it's got, like, these little feet. Then it's like a little half crab or something. I don't know. I haven't seen anything with anything clearly this feet-like. How many feet does it have? It has, like, 6 of them, I think. And then it has taste buds on these feet. Using its legs to walk, digging on the floor. These have been around for quite some time, too. I mean, it's not like they just found them. Sea robins are so adept at rooting out prey as they walk along the ocean floor, and their 6 leg-like appendages that other fish follow them around in the hope of snagging some freshly uncovered prey themselves. This one's got bright coloring. We settled on the term legs because of those striking walking function. So this is the first one I've seen that, like, they had some that looked like the frogfish had. When they first showed up, that was like this fin that they would sort of walk on. And then over time, those fins became more like kind of feet things. And they got really, really walky. And then pretty soon the feet things kind of separated away from the fins. So they had their fins and their feet. So that's kind of like where this one is, because it's got that fin, but now it also has this fin. But then it got like feet, like little crabby feet. So now it walks on the crabby feet. So it's like the latest version of the feeted fish. Walking fish. Genetically distinct walking fish versus all the boring old not distinct walking fish that are also Mandelas. Researchers observed instances of sea robins digging to search for prey during their lab studies. Yeah. They look weird from the top, too. Alright, they're talking about the evolution of these. Wait. Was there like 2 of them that co-evolved, I guess? This one, no digging, no papillae. This one has digging and papillae. Papillae, whatever. How do you even say that? Alright, so there's 2 of them now. 2 of them showed up at once. We don't have time to waste anymore. We can't do any more one-at-a-time beasts. Okay, so Cruella De Vil. Now, there's old Mandelas here, but there's, in my opinion, and Jackie's opinion. And it's interesting because we both... Sometimes she just says you notice something, and we tend to notice the same things. But the one that stuck out to me the most here was not the one that stuck out for her the most. So originally, I remember this coat being a Dalmatian coat. It was a spotted coat, which made it like really obvious that she was going to kill all them Dalmatians, all 101 of them. They didn't come out and say where the spots came from, but you kind of assumed. Okay, so that was the thing. The other thing is her name was De Vil, D-E space V-I-L-L-E. That is I still spell it like that. I keep forgetting. For many of us, those 2 are the main Mandelas. Okay, but now there seems to be a lot of versions of her, but there's certain things that I'm definitely like, Or what is it? The Gen Alpha says, nuh-uh. Which I kind of like that, because instead of going, you're stupid or anything, they just go, nuh-uh. It's funny because Gen Alpha's getting this reputation for being impossible, but they're actually easier to deal with online, on average, of course there's exceptions, than the older generations, because they'll just be like, nuh-uh. What is the mutant Cthulhu? I know. You know, it just showed up and it's already creepy. Where's it gonna go from here? So yeah, they've always been around. They've had the two kinds, and they look kind of the same. It's called a sea robin, SEA space ROBBIN. Evolution takes millions of years. The Mandela, hold my beer. That is like a perfect example of the Mandanimals. I absolutely agree. Like, I can't believe in evolution anymore. I mean, at least not the way we were taught it. This crap just shows up. I mean, like literally, when I had my dog, there were changes in her as I continued to possess her. Like she was morphing in my house. Day by day, things like I remember that when those big old bumpy things on the back of the spine were growing, and I was feeling them on her, and I was like, what's wrong with my dog's backbone? You know, is she got arthritis? Maybe I was like, because you didn't used to be able to feel the bumps on a healthy dog of healthy weight, and she wasn't fat, but I didn't think she was starving, you know. And I started to feel her backbone more and more. I'm like, I got so worried because it's like she's getting something wrong with her. I weighed her. I'm like, she hasn't lost any weight. Why is her backbone sticking out? And I'm not. When she went to the vet for a checkup, they said she was fine, and I'm like, but why is her backbone sticking out? I mean, like, it was creepy. Well, later on, I figured it out. It's she's growing back bumps because everybody was. Apparently, there's a timeline where Neo picks the blue pill. You know, was that? I thought I saw some yakking about that on Retcon a while ago, maybe. I don't. I guess. Sure, why not? It certainly would not be the weirdest Mandela in time that we've seen. All right, Jackie's giving a hint. Hold my grimace shake. Yeah, I guess I don't know. Are these grimace shakes? I only just heard about them like in the recent months, and it was this big thing, and a return of the grimace shake. And all right, I'm not like a McDonald's expert, but I've never heard of them until recently. Yeah, hold my Coke Zero. I actually have. Oreo. Now, they better be new. Oreo flavor is new, last I checked. Oreo Coca-Cola Zero, which apparently has been in this timeline a long time, but only in mine in recent months. Animals are more conscious than people. My cat only understands. I don't know what I want to say about animals. They're definitely more conscious than they were. And I think their consciousness is different. But it definitely does seem like communication between them is getting easier. But for me, it's just certain ones. Like, I'll have a connection. Like, some of the horses, I swear, it's almost like I could say, dude, the carrot's by your foot. Because sometimes they'll drop it and they'll be like, oh, where's the carrot? And I'm like, I just imagine, like, saying, look, it's next to your right foot. It was like that horse would be like, huh? Oh, and then find it. But only certain horses. Other horses, no. It was like certain ones, they could kind of get it or something. I mean, of course, it could just be all coincidence, and he just happened to find the carrot right when I said it's there. And I didn't say it out loud, but, you know, maybe I'm getting really wooey. I actually find it easier to think they could just pick up my thoughts than to just understand English. English is harder than picking up thoughts now in my mind somehow. McRibs. So I don't remember McRibs going back either. I thought those are new. But like I said, I don't want to go too far on my confidence on McDonald's lore. Especially in the last 20 years, because when I was a kid I would go there, but I really have not gone there in so long. They used to taste way better, for one. I went a few more times, and every time I went, I'm like, meh. Oreo Coca-Cola. They just came out with it. It's really not bad. I was very skeptical, but it is not bad. It is. I would not put it on my top one, but it is not on the bottom. And it does get good reviews from others, too. My dog's fur pattern changed. Yes, there definitely was changes in my dog's fur patterns. Somehow I could kind of write that off as her getting old, but it actually had gotten longer and more curly. So yeah, there was many times where I'm like, since when did dogs' hairs get longer and more curly? Since when did then after I knew of the Mandela, I'm like, oh, okay. She also had, I think I've covered this before, but there was an incident where she ran out in front of a car that was moving slowly, and she got whacked, but not real bad because the car wasn't going fast, but she did bounce off, right? And then she was sort of like, ow, ow, and then she seemed like she was fine, and we didn't take her to the vet because she didn't really show any signs of pain or damage, more just like a bruise or something. I mean, she just seemed like she was fine, right? And that was so many years later. Suddenly she had this weird dent in her ribs, like down there. Like at one time I'm petting her, and all of a sudden, and you could tell it was really old, there was no pain or anything, and I'm like, I remembered that that's where she had gotten hit by that car. But I think because the rib cage changed, that actually meant that she hit more on the rib or something. I can't swear on that, but I have very suspicious because, and I was like, I couldn't have not noticed this all these years, and suddenly there's this weird dent. And then my friend who also knew the dog, she was petting my dog and said, "What's this dent?" Oh, that's weird, but it feels, because she was a vet tech before. She's retired now, but she was like, yeah, it feels like there's this weird dent, but it seems like it's really old. But she's like, also was like, never remembered it being there for years and years. So it's like, So yeah, I think that was her changing. Like the ribs changed shape, and then it got to where she would have dented it. Because, you know, in my old timeline, the ribs were less numerous but bigger. And I think they held up better to that hit. But now they're smaller and more. But I think they got deformed from that hit. They found corpses in a meat distributor place for McDonald's. I've not heard of that. When did awful change to awful? Yeah, you know, I do kind of remember AWEFUL. Now neither one of them looks right, so I don't know. I do feel like I'm sort of losing touch with my old memories of the old reality more than just like lately. It's just like the pressure to remember them. I just feel like lately there's been a big loss of connection to that, which I don't like. I do like that I'm a lot better mood a lot now. I'm happier, but it's almost like I had to let go of some of those memories or something. I mean, memories of what? Like Fruit Loops? I mean, like that. I don't know why I'd have to let go of those, but. Eva, do you still know the ex-adult actress? The ex-adult actress. Do I know the ex? I don't know what you're talking about. Sorry. Oh, her. Okay. Okay. Yes. I still know her. Yes. Okay, I think I know what you're talking about. Yes. I had to think about it. I didn't really know. I mean, she wasn't like my close friend or anything. I knew her some. Words often don't look quite right to me. Anyway, yeah. So basically there's this porn star that she was briefly a porn star, but well known and liked, and I knew her as a person and then found out she was that porn star. But you know, as a woman, I don't really like watch, you know, keep track of porn star stuff, but so I knew her later. But I don't know, I don't think I really want to say who it was. Maybe I said it before, but today I just doesn't seem like right. Alright, hopefully this is not the one. I'm clicking on this X link. Unknown. Oh, is that... Wait a minute. Okay, It's creepy already, but this is a time lapse. Okay, I'm like, since when did they're like, feed me Seymour? Okay, but these are all jittering enough that I know this is a time lapse. But so I have not seen these. I saw those ones that are like this, and they're like stinky. When did those first show up? Those were like super rare, like 15 years ago, and there was like almost none in the world, and now you see them like every 5 seconds. But I've not seen this one. Turn off this music. No music. So, I mean, it looks like it's fake. It's here, right? It's on here. Okay, so this is, it's not out here. Okay, I get it. Okay. These flowers are attached to this thing. They're not out here. So they're actually just this big. And that's, okay, I get it. That's what was getting me. So they're night blooming, but they're not outside. I was thinking this was the pot for these, and they were like going to eat you alive because they were 5 feet tall. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'd know about these. Blooms one night a year. Okay. I don't think I've heard of that before. It's famous for a spectacular bloom that only occurs once a year between June and October. I don't know. It's not that big a deal. Not yet. Maybe another 5 or 50 shifts. Still, yeah, I've not heard of those, but I don't know if I would have. They're not quite weird enough that I feel confident. Soylent Green, yeah. You know what? I almost feel like if it was Soylent Green, it would taste better. That sounds terrible, but I don't know what's in there, but it doesn't even seem like it's meat flavored. I have heard, I have not tasted, I don't plan to, but I've heard, we were looking this up before, that humans taste like pork. Okay, so it should taste better. Ah, I never said her name. Good. Okay, so that's, I had the same personality as before. She had a brief but popular career. And it was quite some time ago. Yeah, I definitely eat a lot. I don't eat out as much. Food tastes weird. Days are so short. There's no time to be eating all the time. Everything's so expensive now. So there's a lot of reasons not to do it. Cannibals call us long pigs. Oh my God. I still don't want to taste. Thank you, but nothing is real, so I eat whatever I want. I feel a lot healthier when I eat healthy, though, so that's the main reason. If I didn't really notice a difference, then I would be less motivated. Okay, so what's up with Cruella? Like, especially this one, I really noticed. I do not remember any red gloves whatsoever. So what stuck out to me was the red gloves. She was black and white. Okay, that was it. Black and white. With a white coat, and it used to have spots, but now it doesn't have spots. So I noticed the first thing, what's up with the red anything? So definitely there's these red glove thingies. A lot of these images, she's got a red liner on her coat, and her coat on a lot of these has turned like cream colored. It looks kind of dirty. Her coat was white, snow white, like the hair before. It looks dingy. I mean, maybe that's the point, but a lot of the times here the coats are now dingy. Now this is the throwback to the old Mandela when it had the spots, but she's got the red gloves, which was not there. Another throwback to the spots. It's definitely diverged a lot. There's just like all these versions, but look at, okay, so that really stuck out to me, and Jackie really noticed, because I also said there was no color. She's black and white. So my second things that I said is there was no green ring, there was no green earrings, and there was no green eyeshadow. She did not have green eyeshadow. She just had that, you know, kind of adult looking, but like this woman, right? No green eyeshadow, which I don't know why green eyeshadow is showing up everywhere all of a sudden, and it's like, I mean, even in it's become like stylish again, and I just I don't want to go back to it. Oh well, what are you gonna do? See, green eyeshadow here, and like blue earrings in her. So she had a giant colored ring in a lot of these images now, which it's ridiculous looking. There's those red freaking. Look, see, it's like standardized that she has red gloves now. It's bizarre. The other thing that's kind of snuck in is these, I think they're fox tails. They're like these tails that are just like they're fox shaped and they're white with a black on the tip on half of it. And there are some foxes that kind of have that, but not. I don't know of a pure white with a black tip, but there are foxes with black tips. So I'm not sure. I think that the point now is that this is clearly a fox tail or a fox coat, whereas before it was, you know, a suspiciously Dalmatian looking coat. But you could see here in the costumes then the red, and then even the red lining. This is interesting because the spots. Here she has the red lining. It's craziness. This is interesting because she's got a. This is actually like her clothing is made out of Dalmatian puppies here, which is the kind of coat I remember, but it was just, you know, pelts, not the whole dogs. So it's like a whole smattering now of the timelines, but definitely the red, and there's the green earrings. That should be totally white coat with black spots, but not cream colored. Also, like, I do remember her having this cigarette holder thingy. I don't know what you call those. They were from before my time, but I don't remember it ever being red. It was black. And it's shown either as red or green in most of these images now. So that's another thing that I'm like, no. There was no color on her. She just didn't have any. See, here it's black, but she has the liner. So she has a lot of red now. This is ridiculous. Sorry, but no. I guess some timeline, the red must have snuck in from some timeline. I don't know what's going on. Some of these I'm like, what? Where did these even come from? Now, this one's interesting because this is really like, so what? This cosplayer does not know how to dress up as Cruella. This is like correct here, basically. I don't really remember this necklace thing, but she's got the Dalmatian coat, black, all black, and the hair. It does look like she did something weird with her eyeliner or eyeshadow, but the only one thing I would say for the red is she had red lips, but not clothing. She did have red lips. So, yeah. That actually kind of freaked me out today. I don't know, it's just weird. Certain ones I'm just so sure that they've changed. And we keep looking at it. Yeah, the gloves were black. I could go for white. I might have seen white gloves, but I do remember them being black. The Vanderbilt mansion was in the middle of the hurricane. There are pics of the village around it, but no pics of the mansion. Huh. I don't even know what to say because all of the geology just magically changes anyway. Red gloves, green earrings, green ring, all new. Yeah, there was no green and there was no red other than red lips. Yeah, everything was black and white. Yeah, I know. It wasn't that long ago that we checked. The green wasn't there. The red wasn't there. Yeah, but a lot of these simpler characters, like Darth Vader was all black and now he's like a Christmas tree. I mean, I don't know what it all means. It's just we're going to the tacky Clown World timeline, or they're trying to say stuff's not black and white anymore. I don't know. All right, so definitely no more of you. Oh, this one was interesting. So Jackie was kind of talking about, let's see, what was the main subject? Oh my god, my brain is so tired. Oh, the how long people live for. And when I was looking it up, okay, so yeah, all right. There's three things. I gotta like get my brain together here. The first thing she said was like, check out this thing where it says that brains got bigger in recent years. And that's this article. I've never heard this before. When was this even from? Okay, this is from recent. So they're saying research showing from 1930 to 1970 that brains got bigger if you were born in 1970 than since 1930. I think they said it was about by volume it was 15%, but then they're also saying 7%. So I don't know, it's different measurements, I guess. So basically Gen X are fatheads. If you want to say, and it's ironic because as a kid we used to go, you're such a fathead, you know, which was considered bad, even though you probably want to say it was good, but for whatever reason fathead was bad. So we are a bunch of fatheads according to this. We have a fatter head than the 30s people. But there's no research on here about anybody after the 70s. So they're saying like now, like people now have a bigger volume, brain volume. But I don't know about now because 1970s was a long time ago. And, you know, so millennials, alpha, all of them, are you guys going to have bigger brain volume? I don't know. This whole thing is sort of weird. That I hadn't heard about it. I mean, 50 years old and now approximately, and now suddenly this thing shows up. I don't know. I don't trust it. Whatever. But then they're saying, okay, so that's just through the 70s. So no idea on the brain volume past born in the 70s, according to this research. Their theory was that because brain volume went up, it protected us from dementia because dementia is dropping. Their argument is that the rate of dementia has dropped by like 20% since the 70s, and that either they're lying or it's a Mandela, because when I was a kid, dementia was so rare. It was like this freak sad thing. Like it'd be like getting struck by lightning. Like instead of just dying of old age, you got dementia first. You know, oh, maybe in the last year you're getting a little bit doddery and a little bit forgetful, a little bit eccentric, but full on dementia, that was just so rare. And so now they're saying, oh, it's dropped. And like, I'm like, this is bull. Either they're lying or I don't know. It's a whole different timeline. So it's probably just that, but let's see. Study 75 years and found brain consistently grew by 6.6% for people in the 1970s compared to those born in the 1930s. So we had about 1,400 millimeters in volume, but the average brain volume for the 1930s was 1,234 milliliters. So yeah, that's, you know, not nothing. Does it matter? So then they're like, well, maybe we had better food and blah blah, and I don't know. Who the heck knows? See, but then here it says the number of people struck by Alzheimer's has decreased by 20% since the 1970s. I so don't believe that's true. According to a separate study, and researchers are now saying increased brain size might be the culprit. Why would you call it the culprit? That would be the reason. A culprit sounds like it's guilty or something. Larger brain structures like those observed in our study may reflect improved brain development and improved brain health. So, yeah, I don't know. It represents a larger brain reserve and may buffer the late life effects of age-related brain diseases like Alzheimer's. I don't know, because, I mean, it seems like when you have Alzheimer's, you go downhill pretty fast. So even if you had 10% more brain, I mean, like, is that really gonna, what, you're gonna live a tiny bit longer? brain growth in younger generations could increase brain connectivity. That they're just wailing on guessings. Okay. Gen Z and Alpha IQs have dropped by at least 2 points. That's not very much. And it could be blamed on COVID. But at least in the official reality. I feel like everybody's way, way dumber. Even myself. Like, I'm in a better mood and I feel more alert. But at the same time, there are certain things that were very easy for me to do that are just harder. Like, it's intellectual stuff. I can still, certain things that I was good at, I can still really do. Like, I can see the interconnectivity of things and the systems, and I can see the patterns. I still see those very well, even better maybe. But certain math skills definitely have degraded. I've noticed that a lot, math skills. Suddenly my math skills are... I used to have an instinctive understanding without having to try too hard, and it's definitely, I definitely have to like put more effort in now to get the same answer out of my head. Okay, so yes, there's no way that Alzheimer's rates have dropped. There's no effing way that, I mean, somebody is, it is so much more now, it's insane from my perspective. Okay, so there's that. So then I started looking at, so Jackie brought this one in, and then I started looking at average lifespan. I've looked at this before, so I'm pretty sure that last time I looked at it, the average lifespan for females was 78. That's when my mother died at 78. And so when she died originally, she was longer lived than average, because it was like 73-ish or somewhere around there was how long. Maybe a little more, but it wasn't that, it was at least a couple years less than 78. Okay, so then last time I looked, the average lifespan of her, and that was, you know, it wasn't, we're not looking at this year. I actually went backwards in time to when she died so that the numbers would match when she died, and it was 78. So then she became absolutely average in her lifespan at that point. So I used to be like, yeah, we live longer than average. I don't know. It's kind of a dumb thing to brag about in your head, but now it's like, yeah, we lived absolutely average. Wah, wah, wah. Well, it's better than like dying young, right? But now she kind of did, because if you look back around this age range, the average lifespan for women was around 81-ish or something. And then it's kind of dropped lately. But when she died, it was still at 81-ish. So it's apparently dropped now since, like, right around COVID. The big shock. Okay, I'm sure they'll blame it on COVID. But, which doesn't really make sense, because the average age of people who died of COVID was still, like, around 80. But I don't know. So now she died a little bit younger than average. So it looks like about 2 or 3 years have been tacked on there. And I kind of feel like every time I live like 2 more years, like 2 more years gets tacked on the average age. So it's kind of weird. It's like I'm never going to make the average death age if as I age, it marches forward. And I mean, that may not be a bad thing, right? But yeah, strange. So we're definitely living longer. Right? It's just, it's ironic that I have this one postmark of how to gauge it because of like her average age. And I haven't been watching the men as closely. I didn't really remember this much gap between men and women. I thought it was just like a couple years. But now it looks like 9, 8, 7. So it's like 6-year gap between men and women. So you guys really do die earlier. I thought it was like 2 or 3. I thought this was like just down here more. So, all right. So what drop we've had? 81 to 79.3. So that's still, even now, the average age is older than my mother's age. My mom was quite spry, but she got cancer. So she was spry up until she got that cancer. I hope I'm as spry as my mother at 78, other than the cancer part. So that's changes, okay? That's changes. The Alzheimer's rate, there's no way. There's just no way. Average lifespan tacked on a couple more years. So how many years? I mean, this must be at least 5-6 years have been tacked on since I've been following this. So, you know, Jackie, I just really did not pay that much attention to the Menendez thing. I mean, and it was a long time ago. That's why I'm really not tracking it now so much, because there's a lot of things to track, and I didn't know that one well, and there's a lot to know, and it'll just take up a lot of space in my brain to try to follow that. Brains are smoother. When I heard the term smooth brain, I couldn't believe it because it's actually true. Let's see. Yeah, they used to be like, yeah, I know what you're talking about. We've all turned into smooth-brained fatheads, I guess. Is the pineal gland still a Mandela? Yeah, I don't remember it even existing. And then there was this, then they said there's this little thing way back here, and then it moved up here, and then skulls are small. Jackie thinks skulls are small. I think they got bigger, like kind of like out the back, like conehead style. So here's the thing. I agree with you that IQ is down. I think intellectual capacity has definitely dropped. However, will the history say that it has dropped? I think it's dropped more than 2 points. Everybody, myself, everybody. But that's, you know, IQ is usually like, that's kind of a intellectual measurement. Is not mature. Not that maturity is really improved either, but I think artistic skills and certain other things might have improved, but they're not really valued in society as much as the intellectual. Maybe we just have to, you know what it really feels like to me, like, you know when you have a dream and you're trying to get your intellectual brain to work in the dream, but it just doesn't want to kick in very hard. So you concentrate very hard, like, what am I doing here? How do I get back to my house? And you just can't quite, you have this vague memory. I think I walked down here or something. And then you're like, wait, why is there a giant elephant with like pink polka dots on the couch? You're like, he's been sitting there the whole time and I didn't notice. And then I'm like, well, that's rude. I should have brought him coffee, you know? How could I forget that? You know, just, you're stupid, right? Like, even when you're trying, you're stupid, and then you think you're being all intellectual. I must not have noticed the elephant because I was so distracted by the pink toucan. That must be it, you know. I mean, and then you wake up and you're like, what was I thinking? It kind of, I feel like there's some of that, like, in the waking world now. It's just like you got to push past the dumb, and it's just harder to do. So hopefully I'm not getting dementia, but it just seems like everybody around me is definitely gotten worse also. I'm like, I thought my math was bad, but it's still better than everybody else. Well, not everybody, but a lot of people. Something huge happened last week. Personally, I mean, my past has changed. I was shocked so badly. Yeah, that's one of the reasons I don't look at my memorabilia too much. I'm just afraid it's going to be hard to deal with it. I'm like, no! Ignorance is bliss. So one thing I did notice is I do this thing where I've been walking. I'm doing it for months. I just walk like about 10 blocks and then back. I do it on most days. Every now and then I'll take a day off, but was that like about a week ago I was walking, and so, you know, you push the button to cross the streets. You got to really watch around here, get run over. But now if there's one street that if I cross, you can't see the cross sign, like the electronic sign, because there's a giant wooden pole there that is for the electrical. It completely blocks it. But I used to stand there all the time and push that and go. But now every time I go up there, I'm like, I have to go way over here. You push the button, then you got to walk way over here to see if it turns on. That pole it's ridiculous, okay? That pole, I don't know who would put a pole there, because basically you have the wheelchair ramp, and then for crossing the street, you'd go up the ramp, you know, if you had a wheelchair, or there's a ramp, okay? And right in the middle of the ramp, there's this giant wood pole. Like, they put it in the middle of it should be over to the right on the corner outside of the ramp. So, like, how did I don't know if that pole would just Who would put a wheelchair ramp in the middle of a pole? Who would put a pole in the middle of a wheelchair ramp? How are you going to get up your wheelchair up that ramp with a giant... So I don't remember there being poles with that much electrical. I was looking at that on a different road. I came back and I'm like, since when is there so much electrical on this road? Like, it is just insane. So suddenly there's huge poles, huge electrical. So that street has changed. At least those poles and all that electrical it's like next level now and ridiculous. So that's one Mandela personal one I've definitely noticed. I think there was another one too, but I can't recall right now. One of my sisters remembers as I do, and the rest of the family either don't remember or remember it as now. At least you got that one. You know, I mean, I swear, you just have one person that remembers it the same. It just is so much of a relief. Like, I'm not going crazy. She remembers it too. Something my father did 17 years ago, now done by my mother. That is very interesting. So, like, that thing had to have been done? Or why would... Those are the weirdest ones, because it's like the same thing happened, but somebody else did it. You know, instead of it just not happening or happening different, like a whole nother person did it. So it kind of puts a lot of evidence on that, saying that like certain things are meant to happen, they had to happen. That it had, even if a whole different person did it. Like, we have songs in our reality, but then the person we remember singing them has changed. Like, there's one that Elvis did, now somebody else did it. And they're like, oh, he just did it to be an homage to Elvis. It sounded exactly like Elvis, but it was never Elvis. I'm like, no, I remember Elvis singing that thing. So I guess that song had to be created, right? It had to exist or something. I should buy the Menendez brothers' house and rent it out. Yeah, I'm not rich. Do you know how much houses cost around here? I mean, literally, it probably cost $1 million. I mean, it'd be up there, 800,000. I don't know who you think I'm just trying to pay my taxes this year. So the oldest, I checked that again for the oldest lived person in history that's documented. I mean, who knows 500 years ago. But right now, the record holder is still 122. That is the same as I remember last time I looked. So that did not seem to have changed. I agree that 122 is a big Mandela effect compared to quite some time ago. There was no way that anybody... That was a big deal if you lived to 100 and you were like in a wheelchair. But now somebody lived to 122. Okay, let's see. My dad gave me power of attorney a year before he passed away to look after my mom. Now, my mom did that 1 year after my dad passed away. My signature's on the papers, but I never did that. Oh, that would be weird. Wait, how can that even be? So who passed away when is even changed? Like, who passed away first? My dad gave it after my mom passed away. My mom... So the one who passed away first changed. That is pretty freaky. I liked my hair and face better before the Emmy. I was more charismatic. I probably look better now, I think. But I look less feminine, which I don't like. Now, I've kind of gotten used to it. You know, I put the eyeliner on and changed up a little so I look... I used to look so obviously female, and all females did, and now that's really changed. Yeah, California's always been expensive, but it's gotten ridiculous. I mean, I've been saying that for years, but you just think it... How can anybody... You want to buy a house, you literally got to have like $1 million. Unless you want to get like this really crappy house on like the side of a freeway or something, and then it's only going to be $550,000. Yeah. And that's the one big thing that's really killing the younger generations right now, is that it's not just the cost of houses, but also rent. Rent is so high compared to how much you can earn. Even though earnings have gone up, food has gone up, but the cost of rent is like tripled. I mean, even $1,000 I don't think is enough to get like a tiny room anymore. You might be able to rent like a room out of somebody's house. A room out of somebody's house is about $900, I would say, if you just want a room, like a room without a bathroom. Yeah, of course they'll probably give you bathroom privileges down the hall, and kitchen privileges, but that would be about $900 is pretty standard. If maybe you could get cheaper if you got like a drug infested ghetto hellhole, you could probably get cheaper, but I don't know how, like, I don't know why it's this expensive. So if you do the math, it still doesn't make sense to me, because although our population has gone up, it has not gone up that much. And they have built a lot of homes, so that should have ameliorated some of it. And a lot of people are squeezing into smaller places, so that should have ameliorated it some. And then we actually lost people during COVID because more people moved out of California than moved in. So prices should not have kept going up more than, say, inflation then, because we actually have less demand. They're still building houses, but yet it went up way more than inflation, like way, 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 way more than inflation. So that was not demand for homes driving that. So what's going on? I don't, the economics are not adding up here. Yeah, some of the big cities. So I don't live like in San Francisco, okay? So if you went to San Francisco, you could not get, I don't think there's any homes for $1 million in San Francisco. I mean, like, now you're talking the middle of a big city. That's way worse. I don't live in the middle of a big city. I live way out in the country. Well, not way out, but I live outside the main cities in county land. And this is what I pay. It'd be way worse if I went into like the middle of San Diego. And that's one of the reasons we bought where we bought, because we could get twice as much home for the same price if we just 10 miles out of town and we get more land. Our rent used to be in the 600s, now in 2016, now it's 1100. Yeah, and it's, you know, so when I first moved here, now granted it was quite some time ago, but I could get like a small 1-bedroom or maybe a large studio apartment for like $350 a month. But it'd be like $1,500 now. Just insanity. Okay, so this is another one that Jackie was, I'm not sure what she had in mind when she mentioned this one, but if you guys remember, there was those weird balloons that someone saw a balloon floating over the country, and they're like, what's that? And then the government's like, oh, I didn't even know there was a giant balloon thing. And then there was some weird talk of UFOs. I'm like, it's obviously a big balloon. I'm pretty sure the UFOs have better than balloon technology. So then, oh, it's a Chinese spies, blah, blah. And then they're like, no, we're just checking the weather. And then another one was spotted over Canada, and they shot that one down. And then they're like, oh, it's somewhere in the woods, and we don't know where it's at. And then I'm like, yeah, sure, they don't know where it's at. And then, like now, what, 2 years later, this photo of it comes out, and this was supposed to be it when it was floating over Canada. And I don't remember them saying anything about it being horseshoe shaped. Did you hear anything about, this is supposed to be an image of it? It was an effing balloon. It was a round, balloon. It wasn't horseshoe shaped. So now they're saying that one over Canada was like horseshoe shaped. And I'm like, no, Newly released image shows the UFO I mean, it's not a UFO that was shot down by a U.S. fighter jet over Canada in 2023. Okay, what? It's like, okay, 1 year ago. 1 year. Remember, we're all like, why is a fighter jet from the U.S. going over to Canada anyway? But since when was the thing they shot down UFO shaped, or horseshoe shaped? Horseshoe shaped, that's the word. Shot down in February 2023, so a year and a half ago. One of 3 aerial objects brought down that month after the downing of a Chinese surveillance balloon days earlier. All 3 objects were smaller than the Chinese spy balloon that drifted from Alaska across the USA before it shot down in February 4. What, this is a different one? I don't even remember this one. I thought there was just like... Wasn't there just like 2 or 3? There was the first one, then there was the Canada one. Oh, yeah, and then there was one more over on the East Coast. That was it. So there's 2 over Canada. Okay, this must be the second one. All right, I'm good. I don't think that this one existed then, if there was 2 over Canada. 1 of 3. All 3 were similar. Smaller. See, because if they say there's 3, not including the first one, then that's like saying there's 4. I spoke with Biden and confirmed that we will continue to do everything necessary to protect the sovereignty of our shared North American airspace. Whatever. Anyway, I'm just like, wait, there was no horseshoe one. That's my main point. There was no horseshoe one. Wrong. Why should we pay for the living? I know, it's such a millennial attitude, and it's hard for Gen X to really understand it. Like, I don't know. I guess we just grew up where you have to pay your way, okay? And this is Gen X's attitude. Like, why should somebody be forced to give you a home just because you exist? Because you're now forcing them to do labor for you. Like, why does everybody owe you their labor for free? That is how I look at it. Now, if we get to the point where robots do all that, okay, fine. You know, but if whatever you get for free is really just stealing labor from somebody else because you didn't pay for it. So that's how we look at it. Now, if there was a way for a magic fairy dust to just give you that thing and nobody labored for it, then I would say yes. Why don't we just have what we deserve? But I mean, all of this is just opinions. I don't even know how to argue. Like, why should we? Why shouldn't we? I mean, it's just opinions. There's no real thing that can say that. My feeling, though, is just this, that I don't have the right to force anybody else to give me things. And if I was to have a free home and all that, and if somebody just wanted to give it to me, fine. Like, let's say society got set up that nobody had to work, but enough people wanted to work just totally voluntarily, that it got everything done, then that I would be like, fine, you never forced anybody to do anything. But if you force people to give up their hard-earned money from taxes, like I work, and then the government takes a big chunk, and then it gives it to somebody who doesn't feel like working, now you've stolen money and give it to them. Because you know what? I don't feel like working either. I want to faff off and just work for free also. I mean, most people do. Now, if you stole some of my money and you gave it to somebody who was paraplegic and couldn't work, then I have sympathy, because, like, some of these people, they have no choice, right? But if it's just people who don't want to work because they don't think they should have to work, well, I don't want to work. So that's where I start to go, all right, now I have a complaint. And the more people don't want to work and I have to pay for, that's more money you're stealing from me. You're getting a bigger and bigger, bigger chunk of my money that I work for. So that's when I say, that's what Gen X says when they hear that. But I don't want to limit myself, because I do think it is possible to generate a world where we don't have to pay for living, but we also don't have to force somebody else to support us. And once we get to there, like robots do it, or, you know, robots do most of it, and then a few of us just pitch in here and there. I'd be totally fine with that. I think that's very reasonable. And I think it's possible. We're coming. I think it's coming. We're in a dwarf galaxy. Really? We're in a dwarf? Is it a red dwarf galaxy? Or just a dwarf galaxy? Oh, we better not be in a red dwarf galaxy. Alright, so, let me close off this UFO thing. You know, I have been hearing that for a while, and you're right. I don't think I've heard that way back. Or not. Okay. This one Jackie found, which is really interesting. Lady Diana, I don't remember her, like, I don't remember there being evidence, like clear evidence you can't really argue with, that she tried to commit suicide. But now apparently we have had that, at least since 2017 when this came out. I mean, that should have been everywhere, but I don't remember that existing. So that's 7 years ago this came out. So apparently now there's these, like, audio files where she even looks different. Transcripts, audio transcripts. So I guess they have the audio tapes also. Nobody's disputing it anyways. Unhappy marriage isn't exactly a secret, but recently released audio transcripts. Audio transcript. I'm kind of like, did somebody listen to the original audio? But anyways, if this came out in 2017, we should have heard about it. Whether it's fake or real, if it was out in 2017. Should have known. Alright, so there's talk about him saying she was chubby, and that she started throwing up to lose weight, apparently, was what this seems, and I don't remember anything about that. I got terribly, terribly thin. People started commenting your bones are showing. I was so depressed I was trying to cut my wrists with razor blades. It rained and rained and rained. I came down early to London to seek treatment, not because I hated Balmoral, but because I was in such a bad way. Then she found out that her husband was in love with Camilla Parker Bowles. So it wasn't, like, in my timeline, it was just, like, people guessed it, like they suspected it, but now there's like this pretty hardcore evidence that he was. Charles was caught red-handed. Charles was obsessed with Camilla. That just wasn't a thing for me in 2017, so this is just weird, and Jackie found it, so good find. I don't know what's going on with this. I mean, none of that's surprising. It was just that we were guessing maybes. There was no evidence of it. Crime scene photo shit. I'll have to check that. I don't think I can show that on YouTube. They pitch a fit now if you show gory stuff. Land should be given to people who want to farm or build a house for themselves. Well, who owns that land now, though? Other people already own it. So if you want it to be given to you, then where are you getting it from? I mean, all the good land, people ran in and bought it like 200 years ago, generally speaking. I mean, we're building out on scrubby desert land most of the time now. Now, maybe not in all countries, but... And technically, public land belongs to the whole public. So there's not enough of it to give out to everybody. So why do you think you should get it and not the other 5,000 people? See, that's the problem. Now, there was a time when we had a lot of land in this country and not very many people. And in those days, you could just stake out a chunk and say, this is mine. And that's how people got the land in the first place, way back hundreds of years ago. But the problem now is that that land was snarfed up. Oh, yeah, so you want cheap land, you can go out in the middle of the desert And you can get acres and acres of it for cheap. There's no water. There's no power. There's no food. There's no infrastructure. It's hotter than hell. 120 in the summer. Nobody wants that land. I mean, even if someone gave it to you, you wouldn't want it. So that's kind of the thing. Like, I'm not saying that I think this is the ideal makeup of our society, but when people give these simple ones, like, just give me some land, well, where's it coming from? I mean, like, those things have to be sorted out. I can't think of an answer right now, but that does not, and I have not heard anybody think of an answer, but that doesn't mean an answer is not out there. I think it can be, it'll sort itself out. There are many solutions, but people have to be ready for it. And I don't think it's fair for people to demand other people work for them for free. I think they should understand too that, you know, anytime they don't work, they're basically taking money from others. So be fair about it. But I also do think that there is a way that we can solve this. And we may get to it. I'm hoping that we're moving in that direction. So, I mean, I hear this all the time. I think I should earn enough money, blah, blah, blah. Okay, there's a couple of things. First of all, it wasn't as easy as a lot of young people think. Like, you just get this. They think it's like Married with Children show where, like, somebody can have a crappy job selling shoes and then buy a giant mansion. It was never that easy. So my parents, you know, we had to scrimp. My dad had a pretty damn good job in Lockheed, and but we had to buy a small house, and then we had a very tight budget. There was only one car for the entire family. There was no cable TV because it was too expensive. Everything was cooked at home. When we went out, it was like once a month to McDonald's because you couldn't afford to be going out and eating all the time, so you just cooked at home. And just a whole bunch of things that people don't do now that allowed us to scrimp and save to have that kind of life where we could have a house. And I don't think people really realize how much sacrifice used to go into getting those, you know, lifestyles. And it was a lot of work. The lifestyle of owning a home and having a stay-at-home mom. It wasn't so easy it was easier than it is now, but it wasn't like this panacea. But we know that we had at least that once, and now it sucks even more. So why? You know, whether we should or shouldn't, I think we should have it easier than that. I mean, if I want to go with all my shoulds, then maybe it's more of a question of what can we have? I mean, what is the point of should? So, for instance, let me give you a should. I think everybody should stop being jerks, okay? I think most people would agree with me that we should stop being jerks. But realistically, you can't have that. You can't just have everybody stop being jerks. There's no way to obtain that. So what is a should? A should has to, like, match up with reality, like a possible thing. I do think it is possible also to have a lot easier life. But there's a lot of things that need to change for that, and a lot of attitudes. But I think you also have to consider that shoulds are just opinions, basically. They're not facts. And even if they were, it exists on a different plane from reality, like what is possible to have. Like, I think I should be able to fly, and I'm going to jump off this building. Well, that ain't in the reality right now, so how do we get it in the reality is more the question I have than should or shouldn't. Pick what we want. How do we get it into the reality? But we also need to be fair to others. It couldn't just be like, I want this, because it needs to be fair to everybody. The bunnies got lawsuit money after they sued the condom company after it broke, actually. Oh! Okay. All right. So you have to have watched I've watched a lot of episodes, but I don't think I saw that one. But it's funny because I hear stuff like that. Like, kids watch these shows and they're like, How, well, look at how they lived. I'm like, that's Hollywood. That's not how we lived. And even when I used to watch that show, I'm like, there's no way that you bought 2-3 cars on one salary and you live there and it was in there's no way I even knew that. But kids watch it and they say, look how you lived. I'm like, no, we didn't. We did not live like that. That is not how it was. I mean, you thought you were styling like, I finally afforded a washer dryer, like a dryer, a clothes dryer, like hallelujah, because the washer really helps, but the dryer is sort of extra. You can just hang the stuff, right? We're styling, we got a dryer. So how do we change things from the roots? I think you have to change things from the roots inside your mind first, because I think thoughts create reality, and everybody's going to have to work on that. And it's going to have to be for everybody, not just for ourselves. Like, I want this, I want that. What is fair for everybody? We're going to have to work. We're going to have to consider everybody and not just what we want. That is my feeling on it. If everybody's just like, I want this, and it's all going to be like this. So it's got to be, how do we work together? What is fair? Not just what I want. I mean, of course I have things I want. We all do, but right now, everybody's like, I'm doing good if I do better than those other people. And that is another thing I think has to change, is we have to go, how do we move forward as a society? I no longer believe in taking it to the streets to get what you want. In my opinion, wrong lesson. We need to reform and solutions. We need reform and solutions to flaws, not destructive energy. I do agree destructive energy probably is not helping anything. But I also think that it took me a long time to realize this, but we tend to want to go out there and fix everybody else. We think this, finger pointing, wagging, but we don't work on ourselves. I mean, it's so easy to see every flaw in everybody else, and they see every flaw in you, but what you need to do is see every flaw in you, and they need to see every flaw in them. And when we start heading that way more, I think that we're going to fix a bunch of this stuff. Married with Children historical documentary. I know. But I'm trying to imagine how it is from kids' perspectives. And, first of all, they're kind of in an echo chamber now where they don't really hear the other perspectives. And then they all agree with each other and they come to this reality in their mind and they don't have all the data. So that just seems to be one of the things that's happening, is like, another one is a lot of them just think all these businesses make all this money. Like I have a business, so people think that I'm just like somehow raking it in, and it never occurs to them that I'm struggling to pay my taxes. And I mean, I had an employee that probably made more money here than I made at certain times, and she wanted a raise, and she said, well, you brought in this not much money, and I just want like a quarter of them. Like, I brought in that much money, but then I have to pay for the product, I have to pay you, I have to pay the rent, I have to pay the utilities, so even if you bring in a lot, that doesn't mean you get a lot at the end. And she didn't understand that. And when I started showing her the math, and she was shocked, because nobody ever told that whole generation that how business operates, that there's like huge expenses and that the margins are not high. Like, so they wanted to force higher wages in fast food here, but fast food only has like a 10 to 20% profit margin. So they're going to have to raise the food prices by 10 to 20% basically in order to cover that. And so that happened, and then people don't eat out as much, and now places are failing because it was already too high. It's tacked 20% onto too high, and now it's way too high. But they don't understand the business model, that the guy running the McDonald's, he's not making that much money for profit, because he owes so much to like so many different areas and just the franchise license. And I didn't watch any debates because the politicians get up there and it's like It reminds me of kindergarten where you're like, nah, I didn't do that. You did it. Nah, you did it. And they're all lying. And it's just like, who did the nah kindergarten game better? Who got a bigger, like when I was a kid, we go, burn. You got burned. What a burn. What a cut. Who could burn the other person worse? It's not really about who's going to run the government best or who told the most truths. It's just like who won the verbal sparring war. So that's why I don't like it. I saw a meme comparing those two with Bugs Bunny and the Hunter guy. Yeah. I just can't, it's been a while since I can stand to listen to politicians when they go into politician mode. It is just, it's so fake. And all of them, pretty much all. There's a few I can listen to sometimes, but not any of the big ones, that's for sure. I think the lessons taught from overthrowing colonialism and racism don't work in the long term, even though the causes were worthy. I think the issue is they never really rooted out those attitudes of I'm better than you and my group is better than you. The tribalism is still there. It's just changed flavors. So now you have a different tribe in charge, and they're doing the same crap where they're pushing their like favoritism to their tribe and pushing out the other tribe. They're trying very hard to do the same stuff, and they're saying, well, it's justified because in the past you did this. I'm like, no, that is not. It's just racism again. So, I mean, I'm not saying it's everybody, but fairness is fairness. You can't just go, well, now I'm going to do the same crap I complained about that you did. But it's because humans do that. That's why. That's what we really have to root out is this tribalism, whatever it is that makes us not work together past our very close people. Or then maybe we won't. I don't know. Maybe the robots will do all the work and we'll just keep being selfish a-holes. I don't know. Maybe we aren't selfish a-holes. Maybe I'm just being really, really picky and picking on every little flaw that humans have. Yeah, I don't even sure. I mean, do I even know? Like, sometimes I'm like, well, if the government does everything for you, you'll just get weaker and you won't learn how to do anything for yourself. Well, I don't know. Is that bad? Will you become a worse person if you're weaker? Am I a worse person because I'm weaker than the person who came to California in a carriage with horses and tilled the land? I don't know. Maybe we just have to choose what we want. Maybe we don't want to be nicer. Maybe as society as a whole wants to be more selfish. Or maybe we'll do that for a while and then we'll move in a different direction. Alright, so toucans. No. Alright, this thing. Jackie found this and I'm like, what? I think I've seen these hats before, but they were like joke hats. But apparently now, whoopee cap was like a whole style. Like people wore these and thought they were cool. That's the part that makes me laugh. They thought they were. These aren't clown hats. These aren't like comedian hats. These are hats that were thought to be cool in the mid 20th century. They're called whoopee cap. And they have like these weird fringy things. Like this guy's wearing one. And these ones apparently also are them, although those don't look as stupid. Here's another one. This one's like some kind of aviator thing. I don't know. It looks weird, but I mean, at least it would be somewhat useful. But I don't remember seeing these on any old photos until like just now. What's up with this? So this would be something that I would wear if I'm trying to look like a clown. I mean, like, I wouldn't wear this and go, I'm styling. But apparently they did now. This was a style that we had. And I don't know. Maybe it's not a Mandela, but this is weird. I mean, like, I would see this, but these were cartoon characters, so we would, you know, this guy's an idiot was the thing. It's not like he's cool. This style of hat was popular among the youth in the 40s. Okay. I don't know. Anybody old enough to have any idea on that? I've just never seen this on anybody. Then now there's all these old photos of people wearing them and thinking they look cool. So, like, if I saw something like this, I'm like, this guy's wearing, like, you know, on your birthday, you'd wear a crown, or like, why do we even wear a crown on our birthday? You know, now that I'm looking at all this stuff, I'm like, why do we even do that? It seemed so natural when I was growing up, but weird. Jughead was the only person wearing that crown thing. Now it's real. Apparently, in the 40s. Jughead Joe. But see, like, because someone's an idiot, so they would give him an idiot hat. But now that was a cool hat. That guy's neighbor was Jim Neighbor. And he died. Okay, yeah, Jim Neighbor. Right? Jim Neighbors. There's an S on there, right? Hopefully. Yeah, it was the style. Jughead's beanie didn't have red. I'm not sure on that one. Alright, hold on a second. Jughead, hold on. Doink. Jughead Jones. I can't say on this. I don't remember there being any spots on the hat, but this is definitely one where I'm like, would I really notice? What are those things even? Hey, people are sensitive about their looks, no doubt. Okay. That's weird. I don't know what those spots are. Now, we saw that thing before where if you see this, you're too close was what it looked like. It was a Jughead hat replica. Let's see. Jughead hat. Let's see. Okay. So it's just a red button and that's weird. I don't know. It's just random stuff on the hat, basically, then. Reality is so weird. Alright, well, I'm taking your advice on this. I don't know. Yep, it has a red thing. Yep, there it is. Was it always gray? That actually, I kind of remember it. I don't remember it as gray. It looks like it might have always been gray now. Random spots have shown up. It looks like it was always gray. Trying to think what color I thought it was. It was not gray for me. Oh, okay. The S is gone. It's Nabor now. Jim Nabor. Neighbor Nabor. Yeah, it was Jim Neighbors. Ah. Burger King. So Burger King hats are crowns. This is the Burger King crown. It's not supposed to be a whoopee. What the heck they call these things? Whoopee cap. Yeah, what was the color? Okay, it could be yellowish. It kind of, it wasn't tan, but it wasn't gray. Black. I don't think it was black, the Jughead, because it was a lighter color. Not for me, anyway. It was a crown in my timeline, no beanie. Okay, okay. I mean, here's the thing. I probably would have just assumed it was a crown if I saw it as a kid, because I never really asked. I mean, it looks like a crown, but then these things on here, I'd be like, what's that crap? So, I don't know. Jughead's hat sure has changed over the years. Okay, well. Ha ha. The secret meaning behind Jughead's crown cap. Alright, what's the secret meaning? There's some serious history. The question is, what's up with Jughead's beanie? The zigzags make it look like a crown. It's called the Whoopee Cap, and believe it or not, it was insanely popular among young people when Jughead made his comic book debut in 1941. Turns out factory workers used to invert their felt fedoras and chop off the brims so that their eyesight wouldn't be restricted while working. When they got new hats, they'd pass their old hat down to their kids, and the crude fedora hack actually became a trend among their kids. Who knew? Okay, whatever. I don't know. Alright, we did that one. 15 minutes left. Oh, I kind of got through most of them. Let's see what I'm missing here. We did that one. I think I spelled this really bad, so let me just... I'm looking at my notes here. I'm like, is that the word? All right, hold on. Holla jellyfish? Oh, maybe. Oh, holla. Holla. All right, this thing. Okay. Some of these I had written down from a while ago. Dang, this is not the one, but now I want it. Phantom jellyfish that eats with mouth arms. Spotted off of California. Ah, dang, that's even weirder than the one I planned to watch. The phantom jellyfish. I found a more creepy one by mistake. I try to keep track of this California stuff because it's hard to keep track of the whole world, but I can at least keep track of what was seen in California. And I don't think I recall this one from 2021. Look at how it looks like it has coat hangers in there. Looks like it's pretty big too. speaking of goofy hats, that's just disturbing. The mouth arms. What does that mean, the mouth arms? The sun hat shaped bell. See, it is its hat. Okay. And it looks like a giant scarf out the back. Scientists think it uses its mouth arms, which stream like loose scarves. I'm getting trolled by reality. You guys talking about this hat have created a jellyfish to ensnare unfortunate prey and winch them to its mouth. Well, how is it? Okay, so it's mouth arms because it services the mouth, I guess. The creature propels itself through the pitch black depths of the ocean with periodic pulses from its faintly glowing orange head. Ugh. That thing looks like something Cruella De Vil would wear. It doesn't look real at all. Look at that thing. That is ridiculous. Alright, so that was not the thing I was looking for. We already had the By the Wind Sailors one on. Let's try making it in 2024. I think it was Hala. Maybe it was just with one L. I can't read what I wrote. That's the problem. No, it wasn't the By the Wind Sailors. I don't know. Maybe Jackie remembers what I was trying to look up. California changing to the new Australia. We don't have nearly as many as Australia has. Australia keeps getting more weird ones, so we have a long way to go if we're going to catch up. I think we have gotten some, but like Australia is like still way out ahead, and they are probably moving faster than us. Palm Islands. I don't think I have time to do Palm Islands. I'm just trying to get through this one. But remind me next time. I kind of looked at Florida like 2 days ago. I didn't see anything real obvious compared to when we looked at it last week. And maybe it already shifted before the hurricane hit. So we might have been late to the party. But we'll look again. Okay. Dang, so I don't have Hala jellyfish because I can't find it. We did that one. Got a bigger brain. Lifespan, Prince Diana. Sea robins. I think those are all Jackie just about. Ah, this one. This one. This one. I definitely want to cover this one. So, Jackie, I think this one's yours again. Yes. All right, we covered the hand before. Then I remember like these fingers coming out straight and sticking out, but now like they're these fingers, the smaller ones are coming out the side, and the thumb is getting bigger. So like people have said that they didn't used to be able to palm a basketball, can now palm a basketball because they've got a little more curve around here, a little more curve around here. There's been different things like I've mentioned that it's much harder to get these fingers into the fist. And it used to be they'd say that you have to hit like this, but now you just hit with these two because indeed that's the only two you can really hit with because you can't tuck it in flat. It feels like it really would hurt more too, frankly. But Jackie noticed also the spacing here seems awfully wide on this. Didn't the spacing used to be pretty even? Now I can kind of get it, but there's like a huge space here. That's basically it. And it goes naturally. If you just go like this one, like, dudes drinking your tea, this one just sticks way out. And I can kind of get some space in here, but there's just a huge gap there. And that's actually weird because I think before this one was really the least of the spaces. You don't really use it. It was the stupidest finger that didn't know how to behave. Now that's another thing too. The movement, the independent movement just seems a lot better than I recall back in the day too. But yeah, space here. It seems like a little bit more of what we'd already talked about with this finger coming out more along the side here. It's almost like a triangle now. So I remember the hand being more like this, where this came straight across. But now the way it hangs, it's made it's a diamond shape here. And this is the normal. You have to work hard to keep it like this. It wants to be like this. It wants to be sideways. It's just different now. Yeah, we're like aliens on our own selves. It's just, it's so bizarre because I'll just be walking on me like, this is not the moon I grew up with. This is not the street it was. The pole isn't a new spot. Just, you can't forget anymore. It's just. People don't remember the same past. That's gotten really tough because there's just so many times when it's like, what? Don't you even know this thing was a big deal for 20 years? I'm like, what? It just showed up yesterday. Yeah. Oh, Skooks, did you make it? I thought Jackie said she made one. Was that you? I swear it was. Okay. Well, anyways, I did not come up with it. One of you guys clearly did. So, I mean, I remember this one sneaking out here, but I don't remember this big gap. I know I have not discussed this giant gap. I just remember the angles had changed, etc. The spacing between the toes got more. The toes are doing the same thing as the hands. Yeah, pinky finger's lower. But I don't remember that space like that. Like, it's more of the same, basically. But now, one of the manifestations is this big space here. It actually looks pretty weird to have that finger way, like, doing its own thing. Because it used to be sort of slaved in way more with these other fingers. Brand new reality every day. At least to some extent, yep. At what point do you just go, this is an alien reality? Because if you just keep taking 2% of reality away every couple months, then pretty soon, like, there's not a lot left of the original one. Meat suits keep changing. Yep. There's nothing. There's a few things, but yeah, not a lot. All right. Well, I think I got everything that on this list. I will do. I will save those other ones. God, there was one, at least one I kind of wanted to cover though. Let me just look real quick. This is the new spot. I might jump ahead to one. Where was that one? Oh, this one. Did I cover this one? Because this one is really creepy. But I'm going to have to apologize for leaving you with a creepy one. Did I cover this now? Or I'm just thinking of... I found this like 25 days ago. But apparently babies, when they come out, male or female, may lactate. Have you ever heard of this? Neonatal milk or witch's milk? I'm pretty sure I have not had this on and it's creeping me out. Now, in the past, I've recently said, what the heck, men can lactate now. But now it's effing babies. Babies. Newborn babies, both sexes can lactate because of the mother's hormones. It's called neonatal milk or witch's milk. I don't even know what to say. I have this one. Ew, I didn't even hear this one. I heard female babies can have pseudo period. Yes, male babies can have slightly swollen genitals for the same reason. Having the hormones of an adult pregnant woman as an infant can do odd things. Has anybody ever heard of this? All right, let me just look it up. I think it was not that super uncommon either. It was actually like a while ago when I looked this up, but neonatal galactorrhea is a common and harmless condition not related to witchcraft. Theories are it's maternal hormones or baby's pituitary gland responsible for hormone balance may produce prolactin, leading to milk secretion. Witch's milk typically appears 3 to 4 days after birth and lasts for 1 to 2 weeks. More common in full-term babies. The milk-like fluid is usually white and watery. Swelling of breasts is common but not always accompanied by milk secretion. No treatment necessary. Avoid sneezing or massaging the breast tissue as this can stimulate milk production and increase the risk of infection or injury. Continue normal breastfeeding. Normal and harmless phenomena. All right, how often do these things happen? See, now that other one said it was elevated prolactin. This one's, oh, maybe it's elevated estrogen. Could be caused by certain medications. The composition of natal milk is similar to maternal milk for most of their components except for fats and one type of antibody. Neonatal milk occurs in about 6% of newborns with age from 0 to 12 weeks. Within the age range, infants aged 0 to 2 weeks were found to have the highest occurrence. Compared to those who did not have neonatal milk production, infants who did have had larger breast nodules. Preterm infants under 34 weeks did not have it. Complications such as mastitis and abscesses are associated with breast massage of the neonate breast. Squeezing of the neonate's breast could also result in infection. Blood coming out is always benign and is nearly always benign. That even associated with duct occasion. What in the... okay, I'm not even reading anymore. Oh, down here they're talking about prolactin again. Oh, pituitary gland again. Medications that cause it. Opiates. Opiates cause it. Oh my god. Opiates. Blame it on the opiates. Ha 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 ha. This is so bizarre. I don't know. Have you... Dang, nobody's got a comment on that one, huh? Maybe it's delayed, but... Have you guys ever heard of that? Because I sure haven't, but I've got like 1 minute and I gotta go. I've been like looking at that one for weeks going, I've got to mention that. Alright, Space River, never heard of it. I mean, shouldn't that be like in the guides? If you don't worry if your milk comes out of your baby. I mean, I don't know. It's like... Oh, Shari, you remember that? That's bizarre. Okay, well, anyway, you guys can keep commenting for a bit, but it's time for me to go. You'll still have a couple more minutes for comments, though. It fits. There's a couple reasons. One is that it transfers to other locations and it won't after 2 hours. But I have to put a limit because I'll just yap forever and it makes me very tired. So that also helps. And you know, it's bad for the algorithms to go long. It's already way too long. So I just decided to stick with it. Anyways, thank you all for coming. Think good thoughts, everybody. This is Eva signing off for Once Upon a Timeline.